So they nVidia released a new card type.
Yes, man. How are you feeling about that? Sim, you recently bought the 780 Ti, I think it is. Yeah, it was Ti. And then, a couple of weeks later, GTX 980 released, which is better in most cases than the Ti. And cheaper.
Correct. I'm considering it. I'm relatively okay because I got the OC overclocked dual something 6 GB edition.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fine for the next 3 years or so anyway. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah. Whoa. The 780 Ti comes in 6 gig.
The one I've got does. It has a 6 GB edition.
Not know that. Although in most cases I found that I think the 780 is 4 gigs. Sorry, the 980. Let me check that. I think it is 4 gigs.
Yeah, it's got other tech that the older cards don't have. But the only one I care about is DirectX 12, which is supported on 780 Ti, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but we're never going to see like DirectX 12 games for quite a while.
There's a game coming out this year that's DirectX 12.
What is it?
What is it? It's it's an Xbox One game. But it's getting ported to PC. I forget what it is. I'll look it up. We'll have mid-episode follow-up. But yeah, no, I'm surprisingly fine. But are you going to get one, seeing as you've got a 770 or something?
No. I've got a 680, which I should probably replace. PC Master Race has standards. Yeah, they're surprisingly cheaper than I thought. I figured they would probably replace the 780 Ti at that price point, but they came in much lower. So I think, $700 Australian dollars or pretty good one.
Yeah, well, they're going to be the new mid-range, and I'm assuming sometime mid or early next year, they'll come out with their super high-range one. Once AMD's
it'll be the dual core. It'll be the double GPU version.
Yeah. Andrew, what have you got?
760 GTX.
Damn it. That puts me at the
Harry,
lowest.
what do you have?
I
How's it like all the way down there, Harry? It's scrabbling.
Hold on. Do the maths, because I have two 570s in SLI. So if you just
1,200
it's just maths.
and something.
Yeah, I'm just way above you guys. Get up to my level. But I mean, really, with the SLI, I have no reason to upgrade until I see some lag, which I haven't seen in any game, not substantially.
That's because you play like medium textures. So.
Nah, I always go high. I don't do ultra, but I always go high.
Knows that the best is at the ultra, otherwise you might as well just play on consoles.
Oh, shots fired.
Pew, 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 pew.
Wait.
Okay, Carrie, you realize that for most games, when you play them in SLI, you're not going to get double the performance of your 570.
No.
So you're going to get normal 570 plus, up to 60 or 70%?
It's like 50%, I thought.
They
maybe.
say it's up to 2 times speed, so I'm going to say 70 plus.
Yeah, theoretically, 2 times speed.
Theoretically.
I mean, it's an economics thing, obviously, right? It's like, what's the point in spending $700 when you could have spent $200 and just gotten the 570? So that's fine. And eventually you will upgrade anyway, sometime towards the end of next year, I'm sure.
Yeah,
so.
There'll be a game that makes me upgrade. It's probably going to be The Witcher 3. I think that thing's going to lag the crap out of my computer, so that'll do it.
I think The Witcher 3 will even give probably the 980 a run for its money. Just generally speaking, like The Witcher 2, you can't play. My 680 couldn't even do. I think it's Uber settings, like at 60 FPS. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, but my one does the ultra top whatever settings at 120. So I'm sure The Witcher 3 isn't that much crazier than The Witcher 2.
Oh, The Witcher 2 is pretty crazy. I mean, I played The Witcher 2 with the same setup I have now, which is the two 570s, and being in a lab and whatnot, at one point I asked if we could import some dry ice to just throw in my computer case just to keep it cool for a while, because it made my computer run damn hot.
Well, that's what I'm realizing now as a PC guy, is you can have a lot of power, but as soon as things start getting hot, your computer itself slows shit down. So having it cool really, really helps. Like, I was lucky enough to get a good case and really good cooling system, so I haven't had that issue. Yeah, it's huge.
Well, you got a half-X or?
The big black one. I don't know.
Yeah, half-X. I think
your ultra-thin fans turned up today.
Oh, yes, they did. I got some water cooling for my CPU, which was really good.
Because you totally need it, because you overclock the shit.
Because it's an AMD and they're terrible.
No, it was great. It's just that I couldn't fit both the radiator and the fans in. I just didn't have enough space. So I have the top of my case pulled off to make more room for the fans. And now I have these ultra-thin fans I can put in, and I can put my case back together, which is really good, because it looks like my computer's broken apart for maintenance, except that I'm using it right now.
So I'm guessing you got some sort of Corsair solution, like the H100 or 110.
Oh, what was the kit I bought? It was called like...
Oh, you bought a kit.
Yeah, it was just one of those self-insulated units. It was like Water 3.0. I don't remember.
Because if Water wasn't good enough, Water 3.0 makes everything better.
You've heard of Water 1. Forget about Water 2.
Water 2, drown harder.
It's like those, remember when we were kids and there'd be those toy commercials Saturday mornings? And it'd be some really shitty, like a Nerf gun that would shoot something. But it would be the most intense, like, explosion-filled thing in the world. It's like Action Man's Rocket Launcher Extreme.
And then you shoot it, and it goes like a meter.
And then it will go, and everything will blow up. That was great.
Yeah.
That's the heart of being a kid.
When in reality, it would be like a little foam pellet that...
Yeah, it'd go...
Yay.
Yeah. I'm having fun.
Yeah. Mind you, that being said, I feel really bugged, because remember those guns that we had as kids? Look at the ones they have now. They're like mini guns. They're like Gatling guns in comparison. They've ramped it up. Like, we would get a gun that has like...
So envious of my nephew.
5,
he has the Gatling gun, and it's awesome. Yeah. Shoots a chain through and everything. Has a little tripod stand. You can sit there.
I read an article in Wired about it, about Nerf, the Nerf company, and about how they have to keep upping the ante, and it's similar to Apple in that way, and everyone's always giving them shit about innovation. They're like, no, we need a Gatling gun next year, but what do we do the year after that? A bigger Gatling gun with more Gattles.
That is
they
fine.
They keep trying to up their ante every time, and they're really getting frustrated because they're running out of things to do.
Look, as long as the guns don't bend, we'll be fine. Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired for the Nerf gun. Very good. And
yes.
It is a good analogy because the shots were Nerf bullets because there is no such thing as Bendgate.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
I don't know, John. If I bend it hard enough, well, it will bend.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like the story
You
was...
take any phone and bend it hard enough, it will bend.
This guy, right? This guy's an idiot, right? Because it's this video that was circulating around. It's the main thing it went from. It was on time.com and all this sort of thing. And there was this dude who was, who was bending the new iPhone 6 Plus, the big one. And was saying, oh, look, it bends. Haha. Now, this guy didn't really think, because obviously he's gone and spent $700, $800, whatever dollars on an iPhone, and thinking, oh, well, I'll get that back from, advertising revenue from YouTube or whatever. But he didn't do the simple thing of going, also showing another phone, because we have no idea if the 5S is just as bendable, less bendable, more bendable.
Oh,
what's a Galaxy Note? What's a HTC One M8, whatever that is. We got nothing to compare it to. So if you're going to compare and say the iPhone 6 Plus is a bendable phone, oh, Bendgate.
My good friend, you are very uninformed, because the very next video he posted up was a bunch of Samsungs. And,
yeah, but not in the same video.
Not in the same video.
Went out to everybody.
Yes, he didn't think of it at the time. But the very next video, he pulls out a few competitors, and he does try to bend them real hard. And they do flex a bit, to be fair.
This is that's epitome of a non-story. Every year it happens with every iPhone release. Yeah, Samsung pays people to do this shit, I swear to God.
Yeah, but numbers don't lie. You've seen the view count on YouTube of that video, okay?
Numbers don't lie. 10 million sold, 9 reported cases. That's 0.00009%.
John, you didn't just do math on air, did you?
Hold on. Let's work it out.
Yes,
no,
but
don't.
Don't do the maths. It's not worth it.
How many zeros is million?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
3. All right. Oh, it's going to an IP address. 0.0.0.9. Okay.
See what happens if you try to do math, John.
As a percentage.
Oh my god.
9 households.
So you couldn't do 9 divided by 10 million, could you, John?
No.
But how many has it sold?
In the first week, when this sort of thing came out, it was 10 million, and I think they're up to 15.
10 million. Okay, but the view count on that video is almost 50 million. So that's 50 million people that have gone, ooh, I'm not so sure now.
No, that's Android people going, hey, time to find out something about the iPhone.
I know, it really is.
It's retarded. Smartphones are notorious for being fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this thing is just a little
You
bit
don't
too
put
flexible.
this thing on you. You don't put this thing in your pockets anyway. It's an iPad Mini, effectively. It's way too big.
It doesn't
Who puts
matter.
it in their pockets, sits down, and goes, "Oh yeah, I feel perfectly fine now." No, it's all stretchy. You put a normal phone in your pocket and you sit down if you're wearing tight enough jeans, and it hurts. And you're like, "Well, I feel this pressure. I'd better not put my phone there because something might happen, or it's uncomfortable." No, these idiots just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Wait, was there any reports on the actual normal iPhone 6 bending, or was it just the 6
the
Plus?
specifically.
Well, if one of them was going to, it would be the 6 Plus. But the problem is that the people who would buy a 6 Plus probably didn't realize that the damn thing shouldn't be in a pocket. I doubt anyone carries the Galaxy Note in their pocket.
Yeah, they don't
So these are
realize
the
it's
four-
a different thing.
Were they
just
wearing
forget
cargo
how to product.
pants? Okay, hold on a sec. The 6 Plus is what? It's 5.5 inches?
Yeah.
Whose pocket's fucking big enough to put a 5.5 inch phone in?
Most. Just.
Like, it takes up the entire pocket and it'll bulge out. Well,
You
actually,
can't
no, it won't
take
bulge
it out
It's
when you're
very
sitting
thin.
down, that's for sure. I mean, I downloaded one of those printouts of the sizes of it so I could sort of see the size of, how big the 5.5 is, how big the 4.7 is, and all that sort of thing. The 4.7 is already too big for me, and I don't even want to buy it yet.
Wait. Tucker, have you got like one of those friggin' hipster jeans that have tiny pockets just because they're cool?
Oh.
Yeah,
Hipster jeans wouldn't fit on me. I couldn't even put a leg in a hipster jeans, man. You're talking about skinnies and stuff? My normal leg won't get through it.
They're talking about fashionable things and Tucker in the same sentence.
Yeah,
checking.
generally you don't mix me in.
Is it a polo shirt and jeans and trainers? All right, I'll wear it. That's Tucker, pretty much.
Hey, it's functional. So,
Still, it's been a...
What do you mean? Black shorts, black t-shirt, and black jumper? Come on.
Yep,
Oh,
constantly.
okay, here's the finale of this. We're fucking nerds. Why are we talking about fashion?
Because we're talking
We
about-
clearly have none. So,
dear. Anyway, next story. Moving on.
Next story. Oh yes, the shell shock bug. More Apple bashing.
That's not a...
no, there's no...
Thing?
Oh, okay,
So-
wait, hold on a second.
It affects Linux and Unix.
So it's pretty much Linux, Unix, and Apple operating systems will be affected by this.
Which is
Because yes, the Apple, so OS X does use Bash as its terminal by default, I think. At least mine does. Pretty much the majority of servers will use Bash because it's generally the most popular of the command line. Yeah, a very interesting bug, if I say so myself. 25 years and no one seemed to have noticed this until now.
Inform us, uninformed.
Okay, so essentially, what this shell shock bug is, essentially it is a attack essentially on the... I can't discuss this without going into, discussing environment variables and stuff, which you don't know the fuck about.
Exactly.
That sounds cool, but it's like, essentially it's equivalent of Finney talking about the geological structure of rock.
Cut to the chase then. What
Well,
can
it's
it do?
specific
that's-
about the rocks. I mean, some rocks are really freaking boring. Some are awesome.
No, don't get him started.
See,
Minerals,
if
Marie.
this was going to happen. It's a whole bunch of bad.
So, Tucker, is it a security issue? Is it like a certificate
Yes.
thing like Heartbeat
No.
was?
Okay.
What is
So
it?
this is the actual operating system itself. Well,
Okay.
more or less the
Or Bash, the
terminal-
Bash shell.
Yes, so the bash shell. So what this is essentially is when you send messages to a Linux server, this is where the problem is. The server's going to read it. Generally, what's say a CGI will sorry, it wouldn't be CGI. Essentially, what happens is the computer will read this message you sent to it, and then Bash is going to interpret it. Now, what happens is normally Bash will store this environment variable as what is generally known as string. What this bug does, it manipulates let's call it a loophole, where it won't store it as a string, but it will only store the first part of the string and run the rest of it as an actual function. I'm trying to explain it in simple layman's terms. I'm
Oh
doing it
god, I
terrible.
regret everything.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the repercussions for us normal kids?
Are they evil?
If you haven't, if we just cut out everything I said before this, let's just talk about the repercussions.
Okay.
So the repercussions of this bug is essentially anything they want. Well, within limitations of the Bash shell,
Like they can sort of trick Bash into executing commands.
they can essentially tell the computer to start executing commands that weren't intended. Because essentially the Bash shell is just a interface for someone to talk to the PC and tell it to start doing things. So essentially a hacker can divert most of these barriers put in place by programmers and just ask Bash directly to, list all the files in your current directory. So for a website, it'll give you all the list you all the folders and files in its current position. You can start asking it, okay, tell me the details about this PC. I'm giving very abstract terms here, but there's very specific things you can start doing. And I did have a play around of it on the weekend, and I was surprised just how much I could do in very little time. So, long story short, attackers can do a lot of things very easily.
Okay, are they fixing it? Are they releasing patches? Apple and Oracle and everyone?
There's probably a couple of patches already released.
All right.
So, I would say most Linux and Mac users will be affected if they are using Bash, and it hasn't been updated. So.
Okay. If they're using Bash in this day and age, they'll update. The sort of people who use Bash?
Yes, essentially.
They'll know about it, they'll update it.
Good news, the majority of Windows for every Windows user, this is not an issue. If you have a Windows server, generally it's not an issue for you unless you have a some sort of Linux or CGI Bash.
But then you're stuck with a Windows server. Harry, you'd better update, seeing as you run a Mac server.
Yes, indeed. Mind you, effort. we are so small. I can't imagine someone out there being like, "Oh yeah, screw those environmentalists. We're gonna get them. Should teach them a lesson."
Well, I'll tell you what, Harry.
Affects iOS and Android as well?
No.
What? No? Why not? They're both Linux.
Yes, but I don't think. Last time I checked, I don't think iOS is running a Bash shell.
It's
this
Bash
is very much.
specific.
This is very much an operating system. The level. So it's not. So I think essentially what Android runs on Java. So on the Java virtual machine, I don't think.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't think it's running Bash. Once again, this is very specific to Bash itself. No, as far as I'm aware, no other terminals. Just the Bash one.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you suddenly hear us cut to a different topic, that's because I cut Tucker's boring ass story out.
Hey, security is never boring.
My head.
Maybe a little. It's important.
Speaking of security, then, there's a news story that I read of which the FBI is rather concerned about Google and Apple's now default encryption.
I heard about this, yeah.
It's really entertaining. Ever since the phenomenon which we now call the fappening happened, this is the worst name, Apple and Google have taken steps to protect their users' data, which, makes sense. Except the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, then came out and said that they're very concerned. They don't like it. You see, apparently it was already hard enough for them to spy on the world that now Google and Apple have got to make their jobs harder.
Tucker mode engaged. They're hiding MAC address now.
That absolute bullshit excuse. This is retarded. Is that lives could depend on police forces continuing to get access to the data on devices used by criminals and terrorists. Basically, they're just saying, look, you're making us work harder. We'd rather just hack into everyone's accounts, regardless of who and what you are, because we just want to find your pictures.
Yeah. In their defense, once you start encrypting it, it is extremely hard to break. Well, hence the purpose of encryption.
Yeah, I mean, even Google and Apple don't have access to your... Well, Google does, but Apple doesn't have access to your iMessages. It's end-to-end encrypted, so Apple doesn't even see it at any point. It's only between the two users. I say Google doesn't, but only in Gmail, because Gmail, they scan your emails and stuff. But,
that's actually to Apple's advantage, because Apple don't want the police going to them and saying, hey, give us this stuff. Because that means Apple's obligated to, give up the things. And that's two negatives. I mean, Apple has to actually do stuff that costs resources and manpower, and they lose cred with their customers because they're giving their customers' information to the police. That's a serious negative. This way they can wash their hands up and go, we can't. It's not physically possible.
It's written down here because one of the, what was his name? Hang on. The boss of the FBI, James Comey, was going on about it, basically saying how it's a bad thing in response to, Apple enabling a file encryption system on iOS 8, which it doesn't have any keys for. So it encrypts something and it has no access to it.
Yeah. Google, on the other hand's entire business model is based on taking and selling your information. So
if you're an Android user, you're a product.
Yeah.
This is just so... Here we go.
Funny.
I'm a huge believer in the rule of law, but I'm also a believer that no one in this country is beyond the law, which means that all of your personal data is also belonging to the government.
I've seen Dredd. I know who's the law.
This is so stupid.
Yeah. There's this system that a bunch of these big companies use. I know Apple specifically uses it, and I know Amazon uses it, and Facebook. I don't know if Google uses it, but they might. It's called a canary system. And what they're not allowed to report on when the government asks them for information. Like, they're not allowed to say, like, oh, Apple's not allowed to go out and say, oh, the NSA asked us for information last week, and we had to give it to them. They're just not allowed to say it. So what they have is there's a special place on all of their websites, called the canary area, as in canary in the coal mine, and it's always up. And if it goes away, like, if you can't access it, that means that the NSA has accessed information in the past 30 days from them. It's quite a cool system, quite a cool way for them to get around. Yeah.
Mm. Well, there was a data forensics expert, an iOS data forensics expert, Jonathan. Oh my God, I can't pronounce this.
You need to call me Jonathan from now on.
Yeah, well, that's bad enough. But his last name is ZDZIARSKI.
Oh,
But of course.
Anyway, basically, he pointed out that Apple's encryption system will not stop police getting at data on portable devices. And then he said, for the sake of privacy and overall security, the only logical solution is to make products as secure as possible, obviously, and let good detective work do the crime solving rather than an easy button. That's not exactly the best thing to say, I will admit, but his point there is that the police, the FBI would rather that Google and Apple release unsecured products so that they can get people's information.
Effectively.
And they've come out and announced this to the world. So I'm all for, honesty and transparency in government agencies, but this is, not quite what I had in mind. Coming out and saying, yeah, we spy on everything. We want to keep doing it. We want it to be as easy as possible. I mean, in this guy's head, he must have at some point gone, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Nah. I mean, they have a job to do. You can be all anti-government.
Well, no, I'm not being anti-government. Like, fair enough, they need, in criminal investigations, they need this stuff, but it's not going to stop them. He's basically saying that this way, we're actually going to have to do it properly, get warrants, go to the manufacturers and get access, as opposed to just, that guy on the street there, let's find out what he's been doing.
Yeah, but I mean, there's the problem. Even with warrants, even with you can have a royal inquiry, and even then, you cannot get the information. It's encrypted in a way that not even the manufacturer of that device can give it up. So
it's private data, so it should be encrypted like that.
Yeah. I see both sides. I like what Dropbox do. They actually have a monthly report on how many users have had, formal requests for information, and they post it, this month we had the FBI or whatever call on 3 different accounts. They do that because they like to show off that they get the least number of requests. But I was
going to talk about that actually. The reason that they're allowed to do that and the big companies aren't is because they're a private company. They're not on the stock exchange.
Ah, I see.
They're not public, so they can do whatever they want. They can murder somebody. FBI can't stop them. They're private.
Nice. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of reverse advertising. You can say, only 10 accounts got accessed, but I still don't want to know that. I'd like to block my ears and go, la 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 la. My files, my porn is completely private.
Ignorance is bliss.
Exactly.
That should be the American, what do you call it, on, like, lorem ipsum, whatever, the things that's on the front of a flag or a crest. Motto, yeah. Like the Latin for ignorance is bliss.
Hang on.
I need a tattoo
for
that.
Now, we need to figure that out, hold on. Ignoranus inublis, something like that. We'll leave Finney to it.
Yeah. Something I'm sure you want to be very ignorant of at the moment is the iOS fiasco at the moment. Haven't you got iOS 8 on your phone, John?
Of course I do.
Oh. Can it phone at the moment? Can it access cellular?
Can you call me right now, John?
It 100% can. Okay, right. Quick episode follow-up before we go on. Let's see, how do we pronounce that, Finney? Cum tamen est ipsa butudo.
Yeah, that last word sounds like a sex move.
Yeah, well, so's the first word.
You Google translated that, didn't you, John? Sorry,
no, that was Finney.
Google translated.
Tamen est ipsa beatudo.
Comma.
Yeah, I don't get that part. I typed it into Google. That's what it gave me.
Ignorance is bliss.
Nice.
Let's see if it...
Sorry. So you're saying, Harry?
Oh, I was just continuing in my typical Apple bashing because I can. But yeah, no. Apple's had a rough week. We talked about the bendy phones and all of that, but
Apple has rough weeks every week after
Yeah.
product releases.
yeah, they've had a bit of a software hiccup, as not that many people know, but everything has to be escalated and blown out of proportion. iOS 8.0.1 update, to what phones it went to, completely bricked them as far as accessing cellular and network was involved.
So it was Touch ID as well. It was the cellular data didn't work and the Touch ID stopped working.
What a strange two things to break. They seem so unrelated.
This is very funny. I wonder why.
But and unfortunately, if you did get that update, even if you connected it to your computer and manually installed the 8.0.2 update, which was specifically designed to fix it, not everyone's phone is fixed.
So what you had to do was downgrade to 8. And then
Actually,
a day later, they released 8.0.2.
Apparently, many users were given the option of downgrading all the way to 7 for some reason. That is so not Apple, and something I'm so in support of. Downgrading should always be an option, always, for everything.
No, I mean that's
I
like
doubt they would have given them the option to go down to 7.
I want my sticks and rocks back. Screw these fancy computers.
Now, the 8.0.1, the update in question, was only out for 1 hour before they pulled it, and it only went to 40,000 phones. So it's not
only 40,000 people got fucked up, John.
Well, out of almost 1 billion iOS devices, Tucker, 40,000 is not that much. Again, let me percentage.
So let's clarify, John, were you part of this 40,000 people who got fucked
No,
up?
because it was only an hour, and it was like 3 a.m. our time. And
We live in
in
Australia. We live in Australia. Everything comes to us, even if it's just a minute late, that's very late as far as
I woke up
statistics.
in the morning and saw all this stuff online about it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I won't. And then like 12 hours later, I get a thing install 8.0.2, and I was like, oh, all right. And I installed it, and it works fine. But I've been on iOS 8 for 3 months at this point, so it's not very different than that. That was your story, Barry.
I'm just trying to remember. What was it your phone was trying to do when it utterly crashed? This was like a day after you installed iOS 8.
What was it? It was something to do with you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very funny. It was just like...
Wasn't I trying to... I think I was trying to just text you and say hi or something. I don't know what it was, but it was something very simple. And I hit send, and then black screen, and I had to completely do a DFU restore update. I forget what it was. No, you sent me something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds...
Like a picture?
I think it was a picture or something, but I mean, the reverse has happened. I remember when I tried to access the latest Apple keynotes on my Android, and my Android literally needed a factory reset. It just bricked itself that hard.
Just didn't like it, did it?
Yeah, the new Apple Watch and everything, and the new iPhone 6 was just too much for it to handle. It just had a bit of a sulk, and then just hung itself.
I remember that.
Did you realise that you were planning on leaving it for Apple?
And then you didn't realize that the reason was because it only works on iOS and Mac devices. And you're like, no, that can't be the case.
There's a difference between it not working...
wait till you get home.
But there is such a difference between it not working and my phone suddenly being bricked.
That's true. Well, obviously Android, the notoriously stable operating system.
It is quite stable. I do enjoy it. As does the majority of smartphone users. Oh. Moving on. Let's get to some games.
So,
we like games.
We've all been playing games this week. Some of us, old games. Some of us, new games. Finney has been playing a curiously old game that has just been released in the West. Haven't you, Finney?
Yes. ArchAge.
Well,
I've never heard that.
When another glowing review from the house.
It's a thing. It's a Korean MMO that just came out in the West. The translation isn't entirely complete, so most of the NPCs speak in Korean, which is interesting.
Chance to brush up on your Korean.
You could accidentally become better at StarCraft while playing this game.
Well, that would be kind of hard. I haven't got the StarCraft installed.
Well, you do now.
You finally followed that guy on the internet's advice to uninstall the game.
It made my life a lot better. Should have thought of it before.
Oh, fuck. Speaking of which, remind us to talk about Planetary Annihilation next week. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so it's MMO from South Korea, because North Korea doesn't have the technological capacity to do that. I don't really know how to describe it. It's a very good looking game. It's CryEngine 3, so I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So it's quite pretty. So far for me, very stable. I've had like one or two crashes, but aside from that, it's been fine.
Mm.
When it first came out, it was interesting. You'd have to sit in line for about 6 hours. There were people I knew who would, they'd use TeamViewer while they were at work to log in at about midday. And when they got home at about 6 o'clock, they had 2 hours to wait in line to get into the servers. That was because
wow, we haven't experienced that before.
Yeah, queues in an MMO. Oh,
Yeah, who would
launch day?
Well, no, this was a couple of weeks after launch. It was still going.
Out a week
It
ago,
turned-
didn't it?
Oh no, it came down a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, a couple of weeks after launch. I've never heard of that.
Well, I think what they'd figured out is there were heaps of just inactive accounts and bot accounts, like thousands of them.
Yeah, it sucks.
So they went through and cleaned out those ones. So you can actually sign into the game now, which I did. I don't have a huge amount of experience in MMOs, but the quests, at least at the very start, are incredibly grindy. Like old school WoW style. Like you've been given a job to go and kill 10 of these things for whatever reason, and you'll get maybe 5 of those quests in a row. Then you'll go and do 2 other ones, which are slightly different, like get a horse, get a boat, then go and kill 10 more of these things for whatever reason. So that they grinded
10
it.
horses, kill 10 boats.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Finny, I take it you never played Lineage 2 or Lineage 1, and hence why this is a surprise to you.
I know what MMOs are like. I've just never really enjoyed them. Consequently, because it's just a massive grind fest.
You're pretty much describing a pretty stock standard, let's say Korean or Asian MMO, where it's
Yeah,
Well,
they're
it's funny that
they're
it's South
specifically
Korea.
grindy. They're specifically grindy. Like, remember Mew Online, Tucker?
Yes.
What?
That was just
Korean as well.
It was just grinding, and it was awesome.
Yeah, literally. Like, okay, so Finny, before WoW came along, right, the reason WoW was a big deal was because games like EverQuest were just kills. There was no quests. Well, EverQuest itself was a big deal because it had quests. Before EverQuest, it was just a world with mobs that you killed. Then EverQuest comes along and introduced kill 10 mobs, kill 10 this, get 5 wolf skins. And then WoW comes along and it's actually interesting quests and some fun stuff going on. And then, for some reason, Korea never moved on. And every MMO they release is exactly like that. This company is Tryon Worlds, the guy who did Defiance and Rift, which are actually quite different MMOs and do different cool stuff. But this thing is as old school.
It's gone back to basics.
Yeah.
Well, it's clear that change is bad, John, so...
Yeah, this is Harry's perfect.
Change is bad. Let's stick to grinding.
Well, there are some parts. Well, for instance, they've got different levels of gliders you can use. So there's a number of fast travel systems which are really cool, although flying mounts isn't exactly new either. Same with boats. There is an interesting trial system where if you do enough things which are technically illegal inside of the game, you get put on trial, and other jurors. So that's very entertaining. And you can see that
we were talking about that, remember, a few episodes ago.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Player
Microsoft
justice.
Online.
Mob justice, you mean?
Mob
Yeah.
justice.
Was it Elder Scrolls Online? Yeah, it was Elder
yeah,
Scrolls.
it is as well. That's the
And you
best
gotta
part
hunt
of
people down.
Well, that's the best part about this sort of gaming is it doesn't matter what you do. You've been put in a trial of your peers, which are other gamers. So they're all going to be vindictive pricks, and they're going to put you in for the longest time possible.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ultimate sandbox MMO is EVE Online, and nobody's ever nice to anybody there, and everybody fucks over everybody constantly. So that's like the ultimate, there are no morals in the universe, do what you want kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see it here.
Oh, there is such a feeling of mortality when you get trapped in EVE Online.
They say, sing for us on Vent or TeamSpeak, and we'll let you go.
No, I didn't even get any of that. I didn't get any text. I just got immobilized, blown the hell up. I got my little escape capsule, and it blows that up, and it zooms in on my dead corpse. And it just... Then it looked at my loot, saw that it was too low, didn't even bother picking it up, and flew off. I just... Wow. Life is cruel.
Okay.
Space is cold and dark.
Just noob things.
Here's the sad thing. I've never actually properly played EVE.
But,
Hold
hold
on.
on.
Never will.
I've heard from you firsthand that you use Excel often.
Yes, I know. I use the actual
What's the
Excel.
difference?
There is no difference.
EVE has EVE has a black theme to it.
It has a very pretty
Whereas-
background to it.
Yes. Whereas I use stock standard Windforms grey, Battleship grey.
Anyway, back to...
Alright, okay. So quick question. So, Vinny, is it as pretty, relatively pretty as all the other Korean MMOs? Because I will give it to them that the graphics are reasonably good.
It's CryEngine 3. It's one of the best looking games out there.
So back to our previous story. Well, mentioning the 780 would play it well, which means the 980 GTX played better.
Well, mine runs it at full graphics. Not a problem.
It's not very intensive.
Well, no. Graphics... PlanetSide 2 proved that a graphics-intensive MMO is not a good idea.
It doesn't look like
also
Crysis, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, no, because you wouldn't do that. It's okay. So what I say, it is a very good-looking game. Graphically, it's not the most intense or the most amazing, but it's probably one of the best-looking games out there at the moment.
It looks like, if you want a comparison, it looks like Guild Wars 2 without the particle effects.
Okay.
Which is a good-looking game as well. So yeah, it looks sort of like that. Yeah, it's a good-looking game.
Well, you can't have too intense graphics from MMO. It's just when it comes down to having
badly.
Well, MMOs are like Elder Scrolls games. It's all about scale rather than specific textures or anything like that. Yeah. So, how far did you get, Finny? What level did you get up to?
I think I'm level 17.
Okay, so that's what 6 hours in, 7 hours in,
something like that.
And will you keep playing? It's free to play.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, that's the main thing. It's free to play, so I don't have to pay for it. Look, I haven't lost interest in it yet. I don't know how long I'll last, because I'm not overly fond of this style of, or just MMOs in general. So, I don't know. See how I go. I think I'm getting up to the part where I can't continue on by myself, so I may give up there.
Well, that's the thing. You have to really play these games with other people.
Well, there are people that I play with, but they're too busy running around being dickheads and complaining about the dickheads.
Yeah, well... That's an MMO for you.
It's so funny. They sit there going, "Oh shit, I got ganked by these dickheads. What were you doing?" "Oh, I was waiting to gank some people." We're like, right.
Well, you see, if you ganked them earlier, you'd have been not in this position.
Yeah, got to get your pre-gank on. Yeah. You know how little teenage girls, they have their pre-drinks before they go out for their little nights out. They have their vodka cruises and all that sort of thing. It's the same thing. It's got to have your pre-gank.
Right.
Please.
So what, you go to a lower level area, you just gank them for a bit and go, okay, now we're ready to gank people.
Now we're ready to gank people our level.
Yeah.
Oh, Stranglethorn Vale, don't you ever change.
Oh my god, I'm stuck in Stranglethorn Vale. I'm leveling a warrior.
Now, you're playing Horde, John?
I'm playing Horde, yeah.
Excellent, I have an alliance character, I'll come help you.
No. See, I've got like 10 characters, and every time I level them, I level them through Stranglethorn Vale, and I get to about level 30 and I stop, because I hate Stranglethorn Vale. Is there somewhere else that's a level 30 zone that I can go?
Yes, John, there are many other positions that you can go to that don't include Stranglethorn Vale fucked.
Oh, good.
So,
that is...
yeah, like, generally, if you go to Stranglethorn Vale, your ass can keep big game. You don't have someone else of a max level.
It's the worst.
It's just the way of WoW. If you go there, you're gonna get.
And I hate jungle themes too. They're like sewer levels in games. Jungles and sewer levels. I can't handle them.
Yes, jungle plus trolls plus actual trolls.
So. Oh my god! Okay, so I was in Orgrimmar, which is the Horde capital, and I heard a guy say "Das Dingo." It was the best.
Did you turn around and go, "Shit, where's the taunt from?"
I was like, "Well played." Anyway. So yeah, you'll keep playing for a little bit, Finny, and just sort of peter out, I guess.
It depends. If I can get far enough to catch up to the people that I usually play these things with, then I might continue on. But I don't know.
They're quite far ahead of you.
They're like level 50.
Oh wow, yeah, that's why they're ganking, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sounds like it's got a bit of a bare end game at the moment, which all new MMOs do. But if you want a full on 1,000-hour end game, that's why people go back to WoW. So because it's the most mature, I suppose. And Harry in the chat has said, "Cough, Destiny, cough." Destiny's not an MMO, so get over it.
But it's supposed to be, John, isn't it? Didn't they market it as a MMO FPS?
Shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
I do seem to remember it being called that quite a few times.
Dance Simulator 2014. Did you show Finny that video? By the way?
Yes, I totally did.
Care module not found.
Funk overload.
Funk capacitors overloaded.
Yes,
Organics can dance too.
Just for the audience, we're talking about a YouTube video that's just... forget the combat in Destiny, it's all about the dancing. And it's all about dancing as the robots. What's the robot race called?
Exo.
The Exo.
Yeah. The Gossip Girl race, I like to call them. You know, at the end of Gossip Girl, they say XOXO. No?
Ugh.
Never seen Gossip Girl?
No.
No, John.
No.
Obviously not married.
Sucks to be John.
Oh, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, fucking segue of the year, all the years. Harry, speaking of...
Completely unrelated and way better games than MMOs and the like.
there you go.
Gents, so 3D Space RTS. Remember those?
Polish 3D space arts.
Yeah.
Real
So,
time as well.
they used to be awesome. I mean, really, there's only a few names in that category, namely Homeworld, Homeworld Cataclysm, and Homeworld 2, because,
Sins
They-
of the Solar Empire goes in there.
yep, and,
Oh,
was-
these RTSs.
yes.
Gotcha.
And I mean, there's
And
always,
the best.
Star Trek Armada. That was a good, I enjoyed that game. But,
That was a lot of fun.
that was a lot of fun. But it has been so long since I've seen a 3D space RTS. So, I mean,
It took
when...
it took an indie studio to do it.
Yeah, so when Ancient Space came out on Steam, I just like, buy. All my monies have... It's actually quite cheap anyway. But, I mean, the problem is that we've played games like Homeworld 2 that has, you know, even for its day and age, it just had graphics up the arse, and it was just such a beautiful game, even though it was completely gameplay-wise an incoherent piece of junk. So... there's all these pros and cons just going through my head as I play it. It's a beautiful game. It really makes space look packed. You know, you've got these huge asteroids that are in the combat zone, and these wonderful pictures of, like, you know, solar systems and nebulas and black holes going on in the background. At the same time, the stuff that's actually within the game, all your units and stuff, you can tell that this is an indie game. They're not quite as picture perfect. And have you guys played EVE Online, where you see like the massive cruisers like pivot on the spot in a way that's just not scientifically possible? There should be some inertia there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, every
No.
now and then your units will do that, and it does break the flow just a bit. You're like, wait, what? Oh, it feels like they're moving on rails or something. Whereas in Homeworld 2, for example, they got like all the units to bank. How you get something to bank in space is actually quite impossible, but it doesn't matter. It looked realistic. It looked pretty. But where Homeworld 2 could not get its gameplay together, this game really does. Even without zooming out into tactical view or anything, each of your unit squads is around the center. You see an indicator of what that squad is. So you can just select that indicator and you've selected the whole squad. You don't have to drag a box over all your units and stuff unless you want to select multiple squads. And then you can see the enemy units quite clearly. Even though if you zoom in, it's all quite pretty with particle effects, you can see an indicator of what unit type you're up against. So you instantly know to throw, you know, XYZ units at it because... yeah, it's very paper, scissors, rock. You know, you've got your interceptors, and they're awesome against other interceptors. But if they bring in corvettes, your interceptors just get wiped out. Just like that. Gone. Forget it. And so you have to kind of throw the right unit at and retreat. You know, it's always... it's like guerrilla warfare in space. You just got to hit 'em, retreat. Hit 'em, retreat.
Space gorillas. Now I'm thinking about Rusty and Jimmy's.
There is no reason to be upset. Yeah. So the game does gameplay really well. It does visuals really well in the grand scheme of things. If you zoom in too much on your units, you'll realize, oh wait, I'm playing an indie game. This thing was, you know, this unit, it's, you know, it's hitboxes and polygon counts put together, you know, overnight, which is a bit sad. So my expectations were too high, but it filled a niche so well. I'm going to play a lot of this game, considering I don't play RTSs that much anymore. So, but considering that, it's the only game that fills that quota. But I got a question. What's up with modern games having floating robotic, well, robots that, you know, throw exposition at stuff? You know, like Dinklebot in Destiny, and you've got Portal being an obvious example as well. And
Everyone,
you know,
liked 343 Guilty Spell.
yeah, I know. It's just when did that become a thing?
2001.
2001. Oh, can't we get over it by now? I mean,
The thing is, where else is exposition going to come from if you had a team of lazy riders?
well, in Homeworld, it came from some half-naked chick hanging in a tank of water. That was
Yeah,
infinitely better.
it was the same
Karen
thing.
Sejut.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same thing. It's the same, mechanically it's the same deal. It's
No,
exposition
but the
box
story
and
of the
giving you
exposition
stuff.
was introduced a lot better there. It wasn't just, okay, you've reached arbitrary point 1, dump a load of textbooks on you. It was woven into the narrative a lot better.
No,
than
the difference
just-
in Homeworld was the only narrative was you reach a point and then it goes, there's a ship out there with something, and it was deliberately vague and weird and made you read into it a lot more. But mechanically, it's the same delivery device. Yeah. What you're complaining about, actually, is just poor writing.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm complaining about poor voice acting. I don't like the voice acting of that stupid robot. The worst part is, I don't think that robot's even introduced. So I just have this robot talking to me and I don't even know who you are. Yeah. But that doesn't matter, because the game is quite functional. The tutorial's pretty good. It was... one thing just really annoyed me about the tutorial. It was really good. At each stage, it was like, do this, press this button, do this, and to do this, you press this button. It gets halfway through the tutorial, and then out of nowhere, it says, do this. And it doesn't say which button to press to do this thing. I'm just, what? What? I have never rage quit at such a small thing in my life. I had to go.
Oh, I don't know, Harry. Brothers. That grave wouldn't be on that cliff.
I still have a beef with frickin' Brothers.
Immersion ruined.
Just to clue the audience in case they haven't heard the earlier episode, playing Brothers, The Tale of Two Sons. There is a gravestone near a cliff near a beach that has the son's dead mother. But the gravestone is way too close to the cliff. Like, a year's natural erosion to that cliff will see that gravestone fall into the water. There's no if, buts, or maybes about it. It's too close to the cliff. And so I don't know why they're all looking at this gravestone mourning, all sorry for themselves. Like, no, just resume that grave and move it. You're about to lose it any second now. Clearly I need perfection.
Speaking of this game, can you build your own ships and stuff like Galactic Civilization?
Yeah, so it's got a base system and all that. I've only played the first couple of episodes after finally getting through the damn tutorial. And the fun thing is that the very first mission throws you straight into the action. It just kind of throws units at you, as in your units, rather than you having to build them, which is a good way to introduce you. It didn't help me because I lost within 3 minutes flat because I just acted like I was playing Homeworld. Like, okay, I'll select all units and throw them at the enemy. I'm now dead. which was fun. I enjoy a game over where I have no excuse to say, oh, stupid game, or bugs, or lag, or imber, bad team. I've got a troll on my team. It's just, oh, I lost. Clearly there's something I don't understand about it yet. Right. So that's fun. So it's going to be on sale on Steam any day now. As soon as you see it on sale, get it, because it's fun. It looks pretty, it's nice, and it'll fill that niche perfectly.
It's $20.
Yeah. So that was $20 is good enough for me because I'm a huge fan of that genre. For your average player, wait until it's $15 or less.
Can you go? Is it full 3D like Homeworld? Can you go up and down and stuff?
Yeah, you can go up and down, left and right, in and out.
In and out.
All of that. And like Homeworld, for example, would have these huge arenas for each game, whereas this one has much smaller arenas connected by warp gates. So you wouldn't finish the mission, but you'd warp to a new area. And if you've moved all your units from one area to the next, then you lose contact with that first area because you can't see what's going on there. I imagine that's going to come back in later games where if I don't look after an area that I've already been in, I'm probably going to lose it to the enemy. I imagine something like that will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a funny Steam review here saying, this game is a 2 out of 10 because it's just a shitty Homeworld. However, if you're playing it on TeamSpeak with someone, this is suddenly a 10 out of 10 when they ask you what you're playing and you say, Headshot Space!
It has got a great name.
Therefore, 8 out of 10. So we just minus 2 second review.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a shitty Homeworld. It looks prettier at the outset. It's just... I wish I could have taken these mechanics and thrown it into Homeworld 2. That would make for the perfect game. I'm still waiting for the perfect 3D space RTS. And it's not here. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Shipbreakers.
It's happening.
Shipbreakers is not space. It's on the ground. It's still in 3D.
No. Shipbreakers isn't happening anymore. They're making Homeworld 3.
What?
Remember? I sent you the link to it.
It's still called Shipbreakers. It's just now
did I have a dream?
You had a dream.
Hold on. Typing incoming.
Okay, now let me fill you in. Let me inform
No.
you. Originally, it was called just Shipbreakers, and it was supposed to be a spiritual successor only.
Yeah.
Then THQ went under, and someone bought the license, and it's now Homeworld Shipbreakers.
Yes.
Right.
So it's official. It's officially connected, not just a spiritual successor.
Okay.
Or
I see.
The Gearbox reveals that there is an HD re-release of Homeworld and Homeworld 2.
Please
There is that, which I'm all happy about.
I want HD Homeworld 1. That will be the game
Oh,
for all
yeah.
games. I will only ever play that game for the rest of my life.
You know, I preferred Homeworld 2 to Homeworld 1,
No.
actually.
Homeworld 2 is infinitely prettier, but the gameplay is shit.
You have
It's
5
just-
minutes to move 3,000 light years to save one power module on a gate, and there's an entire enemy war fleet between you and it.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Whereas Homeworld 1 was, you gotta stay inside this nebula, otherwise, the sun's light will slowly destroy your ships. Or, there's a
It was
huge...
literally the exact same mission in Homeworld 2 with the dust clouds.
Yeah, except
That was 'cause you get caught.
you just throw
Yeah,
everything
detection.
at it. Yeah. That's yeah, but that in Homeworld 1 your ship just gets destroyed. In Homeworld 2 it's a game over because all of a sudden everyone dies. But I mean, Andrew and I had the correct response when it came to Homeworld 1. We came across a sphere of frigates that took up half the entire map. See, normally you'd have to destroy them all. We took one look and went, wait a second, we can capture them slowly but surely, and thus began a 3-hour playthrough of a what could be 20-minute map.
But for me, that one took a couple of weeks.
I know, it just goes
I
on
took
forever.
like every single frigate.
It's
The only way I survived the last few levels is because I had this unending supply of frigates.
Yeah, that was the best. I enjoy those kind of gameplay mechanics that you can just... It's not broken, it's just a matter of time and effort. You can put in...
great.
You can put in
Because in the
3
last
hours.
level... Sorry,
You go
because
ahead.
in the last level, there'd be this point where they go, oh no, another reinforcement fleet has arrived. You're like, ha 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 ha! Go, my ion cannon frigate minions! And you send 20 of them to deal with 5 ships.
God, that was such a gloriously game-breaking map.
Yeah, well, Homeworld 2 did deal with that by throwing more at you if you had...
Yeah, but then it just
cheating
became a
stuff.
spam fest. It had nothing to do with tactics. It was just build the right ratio. You need an army with the correct ratio of heavy units and light units and in-betweens and missiles and iron
Yeah,
frigates.
it's the
Clump
exact...
them all, clump
It's
them all
the
together
exact
and
thing
throw
you
them.
just talked about.
No.
Scissors, paper, rock.
No. In this one, if you have 2 different unit types in the same location, one of those unit types will die instantly before they can be saved by the other unit type. You need to have the wrong unit types out of the combat zone entirely at that specific point. If the enemy throws in their frigates, if your interceptors are in there for so much as 20 seconds, they're all dead. You've lost all of them. So it's very... It was introduced in such an anime way. Like, it had nothing to do with sheer strength or numbers. It was, haha, you fail because I have secret super attack, missile launchers attached to my frigates. Evil laugh, ha ha ha. And then, all my units would die. So it's all about, well, that's okay, because I can retreat those units and bring in my ultra plasma, I'm terrible with these names. What's
Ending sentences.
It reminds me of those Nerf gun ads we were talking about earlier. The super extreme destroyer Gatling cannons.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just a graphics whore, so I like the graphics more. than Homeworld. But I haven't played it for years.
Play it.
Except Homeworld 2 had the Star Wars mod, so there's that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Battlestar Galactica mod was also really good in Homeworld 2. That actually worked really well because the mechanics
Fighters.
worked the same way because, the Battlestars launched fighter units, and that's a mechanic that works in Homeworld 2. You have carriers that have launching bays. So the modders were able to put all of that together and make something pretty much exactly like the show depicted.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, from ancient space to ancient games. Tucker, you've been playing a really old game.
Oh shit! I just came back from that extremely boring conversation you guys were having about some sort of space RTS.
Wait, you
No,
never
that's
played
not-
Homeworld?
No, I never played Homeworld.
Ah.
It just doesn't interest me. The only
Oh.
space themed
Played the
RTS,
shit out of it. Oh.
the only space themed RTS I'm interested in is Dark. That's as spacey as I get.
That's not spacey. It's on ground.
Yeah, it's on
But-
planets.
Yeah, it's on planets. But yeah, no, I never played Homeworld stuff. I didn't play Sins of the Solar Empire or whatever, so just not interested in it. It was bad enough when I gosh, what's that ridiculously long RTS? Like levels take like 2 or 3 hours.
Supreme Commander or something.
Yeah, Supreme Commander. There we go.
Total Annihilation.
Homeworld's not like that. Homeworld's
I love that game.
I like Homeworld more than I liked that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Thingy didn't. It's the opposite.
Just some reason, I'm just
Homeworld.
not drawn to it. So Harry, even if it was $10, I probably still won't buy it.
That's right.
Oh, this
Maybe
specific
5.
one I'm not going to buy. But Tucker, you should play at least Homeworld 2 with the Star
Yeah,
Wars.
I'm aware. My Steam catalog is too large at the moment for me to add.
I've been playing WoW again. And I'm not even going to talk about it, except to segue into the fact that finally, which we all knew was coming, Project Titan was cancelled from Blizzard. 7 years ago. 7 fucking years ago,
Yes.
They released a thing saying, oh, well, you've all heard rumors of Project Titan. Well, we're going back to the drawing board because we just haven't found the fun in it.
That was 7 years ago.
That was in 2007.
Oh, yeah,
And then we
okay,
heard-
yeah, but then
then
they
we
did
heard
it again
nothing.
last year.
Yeah, then we heard nothing, and then last year they said, yep, we're still working on Project Titan, and we haven't quite found what we're doing, but we're really working hard on it. And then finally they go, yeah, no, we just didn't find the fun in it, so we're cancelling it. And
John,
then,
they
not
restarted the project.
coincidentally, they then a week later said, there's going to be 8 more expansions for World of Warcraft.
Funny that.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
We had a massive influx of developers who were working on MMOs, so
Yeah.
decided to make even more expansions for WoW, which I'm perfectly fine with because
As am I.
Warlords of Draenor looks.
Very excited. And we'll be
Especially
talking about
with,
a lot of that in next month.
We will. But have you guys been watching the short clips that they've been putting on YouTube? So
Lords
essentially,
of War?
Lords of War. Yeah, I think it's Lords.
Yeah, I haven't.
They're good.
I'm
enjoying them.
Yeah, well, it's what, like, quick backstory, is it?
Yeah. Okay. So this first started in.
It's an anime, isn't it?
No. I say it's more of a visual. It's more of like a visual novel. Not these not the not the Japanese ones, but like so like
It's like an orc saying, "Notice me, senpai."
no, sorry. What's I forgot the technical term, but you know the visual comics.
Close enough.
Yeah, so similar to that, but better,
Okay.
more awesome. Because
And what? It's about when the Burning Legion first came to Azeroth.
more the backstory behind each. Well, not behind all the warlords of Draenor, but the main one's supposed to probably check out. So yeah, like Garrosh,
Thrall's the best.
Thrall.
I love
Yeah, Thrall's. No. There's no Thrall, but there is the Warsong clan.
Oh.
Thrall wasn't part of it, John.
No, I know, but I like Thrall's story. He had a cool story.
Oh yeah, he's got an interesting story.
But
but
a little,
once
it's his name spoils his entire story, though. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, slave. Jeez, John.
Yeah. Good story.
Your name literally means slave. I hope
Yeah.
you're happy. This is your life.
It was like when Star Wars, before it came out, when he was going to be called Luke Starkiller. It's like, really? Might as well call him Luke Death Star Killer, so you know exactly what he's going to do in the movie.
I am become Death, Destroyer of Worlds.
Destroyer of Stars.
Destroyer of Stars.
Okay, but Harry and Finney, were you even slightly interested in Titan? What it could have been?
I
In fact, do you guys
hadn't-
even know what it was
No.
rumored to be, or like what they kind of leaked of what was going to happen?
Whatever happened to
essentially-
Starcraft Ghost? Yeah.
That's a
Same
separate.
fate.
That was a different.
That's
Yeah.
a separate
Well,
thing, yeah.
StarCraft Ghosts existed and almost came out, but got
Yeah.
cancelled. It was
Uh.
they played. It was playable on the Xbox.
Yeah.
BlizzCon. I think the first BlizzCon they had a playable demo.
BlizzCon 2005.
Yeah. Well, he won the first.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't have
just-
played it because I didn't
Like,
know what StarCraft was in 2005.
But let's put it this way: like Blizzard just refused to release bad games. So the only thing I can conclude is it was a great game, unless you compare it to other Blizzard titles where it would have cut it.
Well, they specifically said they didn't find the fun, and you got to respect for that. You know, they're not just gonna. If they released this Project Titan thing, they would have sold millions of copies because it's Blizzard and they've been hyped for fucking 10 years at this point, but they didn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't fun, and they just would have they would have lost face on it. Well, okay, let's be realistic. It probably would have been a good game, but not as fun as say Hearthstone or
Well, and it would have cannibalized because it was meant to be an MMO. It would have cannibalized WoW.
Maybe. I think people would have played it and gone, it's not as fun as WoW, and then gone back to WoW.
Yeah, that's true. Now, speaking of good Blizzard games, I have some fun news for you, young Tucker.
Please
So-
tell me you have a beta key. give me.
No. What, for
Then
Heroes of
don't
the Storm?
talk about it because
Heroes of the Storm or Warlords? Which did
Here's
you
the
want?
Storm. I don't know. I don't want to play the beta. Even if I've got an invite to the Warlords beta, okay, maybe I'll play a little bit of PvP and stuff, but I don't want to ruin the story.
Okay, so Heroes of the Storm, they've just announced that they're wiping all the purchases in the cash shop and everything, right?
Yes.
They're wiping your character and all that sort of stuff in preparation for the beta.
Now, is that a
They're
closed
making,
beta? Or-
no, it is going to be an open beta and it is going to be released at BlizzCon, which is in 3 weeks.
Oh my god!
So you can all play Heroes of the Storm in 3 weeks, and I know you were interested in checking it out as well, Harry. Were you?
But John, I want to play it now. I don't want to wait.
Well, you can log into my other account and play it because both my accounts have.
I don't want to play on your account. I want to play on my own account.
Okay. Well, my account has a pony with rainbows that come out of the back of it as you run along.
Well, now Harry wants to play it.
I'm all over that.
Oh, dear. And some more quick news, or news game, whatever I've been playing. This is quite funny, relevant to you, Harry. So Harry, about a couple of months ago, suddenly got the urge to play Quake, and I went to look up Quake 3 specifically, and went to look up how much it was on Steam. $20. And then the next day, I have Quake in my Steam library. Harry's bought it for me. I'm like, God damn. And it hardly works, and it's terrible and really hard to get running. And then they released Quake Live on Steam for free, and which is,
the world's stupidest business model.
Well, it's all right. It's a perfectly fine business model for a free game. I mean, it's been
So
working
wait, is this
fine
the
for
one they
4 years.
released?
ZeniMax and Bethesda don't have a clue what they're doing with it.
Yeah, it's had a competitive scene the past 4 years on the browser. You know?
Very small.
Yeah, well, it's Quake, Finny. It's going to be small, but it's dedicated. You know,
Steam
and not
will
everything
make it
can
big.
be Dota or LoL, but yeah, no, and it's pretty much the only arena shooter. So if you're going to have an arena FPS, it's the only one. But yeah, no, it was just funny that came out a month after you went and spent $40 on a copy of my copy.
That's a 4-year-old game.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, it's not a 4-year-old game, Tucker. It's Quake.
Oh yeah.
It's a 20-year-old game.
God.
When did Quake 3 come out? That was
99.
99. Okay, so it's a 15-year-old game.
Yeah. Mind you, 15 years ago, I mean, whoever actually spent money on Quake, so I can see why they're asking for that price, because they never got any money to start with.
Yeah.
It was the easiest game to just copy. You get the disc and you just copy the disc. It had
Yeah, I never played Quake until the other day with Harry.
Really?
First time. Yeah.
Quake was like the game that you could always get running on a computer network. It didn't matter how much security they had, you could always get straight past it.
Counter-Strike was our one, wasn't it, Tucker? Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Counter-Strike
TAFE it
was
was
the
Age of Empires 2. Now that I could get running on anything.
Yes.
Dear. Anyway. Oh, and before we end, some quick fucking news about the fucking goddamn fucking country Oculus Rift.
Wow, that's a change of pace.
I buy a developer kit 2. I wait for it to arrive, and then they announce, guess what, guys? Developer Kit 3 is about to come out. With audio and headsets and 360-degree head tracking and improved screen and all this sort of great stuff. And so I immediately cancelled my order, which, you know, good thing that the order is going to take till February, because now I've cancelled the order and I'm not going to get a Rift until the fucking consumer version comes out.
Wait, so this is the Samsung Gear you're talking
What?
about? Or?
No, the DK3, the Developer Kit 3. The Samsung Gear is a different thing. That's just a phone strapped to your face.
Yeah.
Literally.
Because the first thing I see when I go to the Oculus website is Samsung Gear VR, which I've heard about.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they did a software deal with it. Oculus is doing the software for it. It's called something Cove. Fuck, I forget what it is. Something Cove. I don't even know. Whatever.
why can't I see the DK3?
It's not called the DK3. Crescent Bay is what it's called. That's the prototype name for it.
News.
Yeah. Here, I've got it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I got a link for you in the chat.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Yeah. So and it's apparently lighter and better in almost every way. I'm just fucking pissed about it. So anyway, I cancelled my order and I'll just wait. So anyway.
So when are they going to allow pre-orders for it?
I don't know. You mean for this one or for the
consumer? DK3?
Oh,
No.
I don't know.
I think the consumer's probably another year or two away. They're not going to. Well, okay. I was about to say they're not going to release it without any content, but I realize the error of my logic.
Well, the thing is, they're not developers. You know, it's up to the developers to make content.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, was that it from you guys this week?
Yep.
Indeed.
Excellent. I'm just checking out this picture that Harry sent me. It is the Oculus Rift with the Facebook stuck to the front of it. Very funny. Very good.
Yes, I can now view my timeline in virtual reality.
Excellent.
Well, they'll call it the face look.
That was terrible.
Wait, I can make this worse.
Don't. Someone give Harry a ladder to get out of that grave he just dug.
Well, thank you for joining us all for Uninformed. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, watch us on YouTube, tweet us at Uninformed News, or email us at uninformedpodcast@gmail.com. I'm John Clark.
I'm Harrison Lake.
I'm Andrew Fitt.
And I'm Matt.
And you've become Uninformed.